And welcome to the Aaron Katzman Show. I'm your host, Aaron Katzman. We're here to speak to you about your life, your money, and your investments. And as always, we're coming to you from the spiritual and soon to be financial capital of the world, Jerusalem, Israel. If you like this content, please hit the like button below. If you've not yet done so, please subscribe to both our YouTube channel and to the podcast. And if you think somebody else might enjoy this content or find it interesting, please go ahead and share it with them as well. So, we're heading into 2025. Where has time gone? I'll tell you, I'm still stuck back in 1980. And then I did the quick math, and it's like 45 years ago. Holy cow. Anyway, we're in a new year. As we get to a new year, I think it's important for people to reassess, right? Everybody makes their New Year's resolutions and what have you. But I think it's really important to sort of reassess how you do things financially, where you want to go financially, and realize that forget about the real short term, especially when it's involved in your investing, and focus on what your goal is, okay? Each time one of our children hits the ages around 15 and a half, we know the issue of getting a driver's license is sure to start. In fact, we have a son who is going to be turning 16 in less than a month. And we hear about it all the time, how he thinks he's going to be all of a sudden taking my car everywhere. Son, that's not happening. Okay. Now, even though they can't start the process here in Israel for another like 6 months, they're always making their plans, how they're going to do it. And then you hear their despair when they figure out how much it actually costs in this country to get a driver's license, to go through the whole process of driver's ed and what have you. Even though there's been reform, it still costs a fortune, way more than it should ever cost to get a driver's license. And, nothing bad about Israeli drivers, but, they're paying a lot of money and they're taking lots and lots of classes. And the fact is they drive horrifically. So it's not working. Sounds to me like it's just a scam and a way to enrich those who are lucky enough to be teachers of drivers to get their licenses. We have made it clear, my wife and I, to each one of our children that we will give them some kind of small subsidy, but that the overwhelming majority and bulk of the cost of getting the license is on the children. What's really interesting is after they complain and they bellyache and they whine, it's actually pretty cool to watch them figure out how to get the money for the license, right? Whether it's babysitting or it's, just delivering things, building things for their grandparents' friends. I don't know, whatever it is. So far, 3 of them have managed to indeed pay for it. And we'll see how the 4th moves on, okay? When it comes time to securing your financial future, the importance of focusing on the long term and trusting the investing process takes front and center. When it comes to creating wealth, patience and steadfastness really are virtues. You're not going to get rich overnight, no matter what you read on the internet or on TikTok. It's just not going to happen. It's a long process with bumps in the road. You have to stay the course. Denny Bayish of Fort Pitt Capital writes, in the world of investing, it's common for some people to experience a bit of buyer's remorse. Not the kind you get when you make a big Black Friday purchase, but the kind investors might experience during times of market volatility or turmoil. So I want to give you now a couple of tips. We'll make it 3, so that, it'll help you keeping your eye focused on the goal, staying the course. Number 1, trust the process. I've never said that before. I can tell some of my kids are rolling their eyes right now. You say that every single week, but it's true. You must trust the process. It's important to trust your investment strategy and do your best to tune out the talking heads that create headlines that might strike fear or hesitation into an investor. Tip number 2, make decisions when life's circumstances change, not based on your emotions. It's best to make allocation changes based on what's changing in your life, not your emotions. Some life events could drive change include retiring, right? Maybe you switch careers, having more children, maybe you get a raise. Those are all things that you should change. Potentially your decisions should change based on that, not based on the fact that you're nervous, for example. Number 3, I know we're not supposed to do it, but there's nothing wrong with asking for help and guidance, right? You can, when you're driving and Waze is broken and nobody has a map anymore and you don't know where you're going, there's nothing wrong with pulling over to the side of the road and asking a local how to get to point A. Okay? Swallow your pride. The same is true here. Part of having trust in your investment decisions is knowing exactly what they are, right? A financial advisor can not only help take some of the emotions out of investing, but they can answer any questions you might have along the way. So you know exactly what you're investing in, right? You understand what you're investing in, what your strategy is, so that you can accomplish your financial goals. The big question you need to ask yourself is, what indeed are your financial goals? It's not always an easy answer for people. Part of the challenge is that these are your goals. Again, whatever the media tells you is not what your goals are. You're your own person. And as such, you need to find what works for you, what you need, what your goal is, not what your neighbor's goal is. You have your own unique financial situation, and as such, you may need to focus on not what is, what your sister, your best friend needs to be done. I recently met, actually, with 3 sisters who received an inheritance. They all came together to discuss what to do with the money. I told them that I'm only going to speak in generalizations, and I really want to speak to each one individually on their own, because I know that each situation has its own challenges. I could sense, it was pretty easy from the get-go, that one sister had some issues that she didn't want the other sisters to even know about. After the meeting, when everybody walked out, a few minutes later, that aforementioned sister came back in, and she sat with me to discuss her own financial situation, which was, she was in a much more precarious situation than her other 2 sisters, but she didn't want them to know. Okay? It is a long road, but if you remain focused on your goals and you trust the process, there's a great chance that you're going to achieve your financial success. Thanks so much. You've been watching the Aaron Katz. I got ahead of myself. Thanks so much. You've been watching the Aaron Katzman Show. We speak about your life and money and your investments. If you like this content, please hit the like button below. If you've not yet done so, please subscribe to both the YouTube channel and to the podcast. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll speak to you soon.